Cavalier faithful, welcome back to Cavs Encapsulated, episode 2 of the young NBA season for our Cavaliers. What I would like to characterize as an unfortunate start through the first 3 games of this season. We have players who were injured. We have players who are not playing because of illness. We have a lot going on. First, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, comment down below. What are your thoughts on the first 3 games? Give us thoughts, give us negatives, give us positives. That's what we're going to do today. And also give us predictions for the next 4 contests. Hang on to the end of the episode to hear how we feel like the Cavs shape up moving forward. Logan, I know you've been dialed in. I know you have strong and fiery thoughts about these opening 3 games for our Cavaliers. Give me the vibe. Give me the aura. How are you doing? How are you feeling?
I'd usually say good evening to you, gentlemen, but it's not a good evening. This is unfortunate. The Cavaliers, you have so much anticipation for the season, some new faces, and you kind of like are starting from behind. It's like Mario Kart when you mistime the boost at the beginning of the race and you're all of a sudden in last place.
Interesting.
That's kind of how that feels. And of course, we are 3 games in, take all of this with that in mind, but it's the idea that we already have to claw back that just kind of just sticks in my craw a little bit. But, let's talk about that Nets game. Nets game was a real positive. I think the Cavaliers got a good W, short some guys on the road. First game of the season, it's always difficult. We're riding a high. But the problem I have, I'm not even mad about the Pacers game. That Thunder game, though, those kinds of losses come back to bite you when all of a sudden you're not healthy. So instead of looking at 2-1 and having, a little breathing room to start here, you can afford to wait for guys to get back to health and stuff like that. Oh, well, now you have Knicks at Indiana, Golden State coming to town. Are we going to start 6? I don't know. That's what we're going to talk about later. But, I'm really, really frustrated because I can't be mad at the Cavs. I have some gripes with JB, but everybody does, and I will continue to just ride it because he is our coach, whether we like it or not. But that Thunder game, I think Jeffrey said on Twitter, he's 50% thinking, okay, we were short some guys. We were right there. 50% of it's just inexcusable to lose that game. I don't think any team should blow a 10-point lead with 2:20 to go. Honestly, it's more crazy to me to say 9-point lead with 1:54 to go. I mean, 4 straight triples, all like mostly uncontested threes. It's just those are the kinds of losses that I'm not going to let go and might matter down the road. And I'd be a better for it if I would just let it go, but I don't. Cavaliers need to get healthy. I think anything we say on this podcast show today isn't a fair assessment of how we actually feel about the Cavaliers as a whole. Because when they get healthy, they'll have ground to make up, but they can do it. But for now, it's negative, and we're probably going to be mostly negative. So strap on in.
Negative, but also just like reality of the situation.
Yes.
Like you have some issues here early on, and it's not that it's necessarily anyone's fault, but you could have issues, and I would say we have issues, and don't look to blame anybody, but it's like that's just how the reality of the situation. Justin, I think it's interesting because you've hinted now before these games were played, before the teams even suited up, that you kind of hinted that you thought this would be how the start of the season would go. What has happened that you thought would happen, and what has surprised you so far? And how did you maybe have an inkling that we would have a rocky start?
He also predicted Cavs last week. So.
I know, but he said. But
I got 45 and 37. Logan.
He has the worst record prediction, and he kind of said we started so good last year, but then I did go Cavs.
I did go Cavs. But when you look back at those games, I mean, realistically, the reason why you go back and you say Cavs is you're thinking you're going to have Darius Garland, you're thinking you're going to have Dean Wade, you're thinking you're going to have Donovan Mitchell, and in 2 of those games, you don't have 3 of those guys, and that's crazy to say. That's crazy to be at that point already in the season. But that's kind of just what happens where guys get hurt early. And if it's a soft tissue injury like it is for Garland, you're always going to be up in the air about all right, well, should he just go and just play through it? We need him. We very clearly need him as of right now. But it's one of those things where like, all right, I'd rather just get guys healthy towards the middle of the season, end of the season, than trying to win games early on. Now, the way that the NBA schedule works, it's really, really crappy these next 4 games because you face a team that you've already played once in this past week, Indiana, your last game. You're going to play them again 2 games from now, which is just kind of absurd. You're playing the Knicks back to back, which is absurd. And then you get the draw of Golden State, which, that's a team, if everyone's healthy, you should be competitive with. But when you look back at what happened in Oklahoma or with the Thunder game, you're just saying, hey, that's a game where, yeah, are we missing guys? Yeah, but like Logan said, that one's going to stick with us. It was a winnable game, I think, at varying points of the game, and you kind of just dropped the ball. The Pacers game, you're down Donovan, Jarrett, and Darius. That's a tough beat. JB doesn't know what to do with the lineups. He brings in some guys for less than 10 minutes apiece and just doesn't really do anything and lets the other guys ride out 40, 38 plus minutes. And it's kind of towards the end, what do? You lose gas, you put guys in there for too long and they don't get enough subs. They just run out of gas. And, their stars, they had, I think I told Jeff, they had 17 guys. 17 guys. Nope, that's not right. They had 9 guys with 17 plus minutes per game in that, or at least in that showing, who got 17 minutes, which, again, they're a young team. They're running the court. They're scoring a bunch of points.
Yep.
It seems like a good idea to have 9 plus guys get 10 plus minutes. So we'll have to see when guys get healthy what the rotation and minute splits are, but that's just kind of how the ball rolls with injuries.
I think that might be almost a double-edged sword too, because like you just said, this could be an opportunity for JB to figure out what doesn't work when you don't have people, but it also is kind of like the same aspect of, well, it's going to be tough for him, either
He's getting
way.
tested early in the season. That's not good
Yes.
for JB Bickerstaff because he needs to
needs
to get a hold on everything early and then make the adjustments. Right now, you're not even ready to make adjustments because you're adjusting to an adjustment. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that makes sense what I'm saying here, but like there's a lot of turnover this offseason. I mean, a guy like Jetty, who many thought was a Cavalier lifer, is gone. You insert Strus, and he has really paid dividends. George Niang has been entirely disappointing so far. I mean, but the problem is you can't see either of those guys with the fully healthy squad, and that is really when you know what adjustments you need to make. If Max Strus is going for 27 points, hitting 7 triples, that's great and all, but Allen coming back kind of affect that. I'm just saying, like, all these stats kind of level out. They all kind of mismatch as you go on. Like, if you play 10 straight games healthy, you should have a pretty good vision of what my rotation is. But the problem for JB, and the reason I'm not going to dog JB too hard right now, is he doesn't really get to have that clear vision at the moment until everyone gets healthy.
And I think, honestly, even to that point, we saw it last year, and I will agree with you that it's different as far as the I don't know if I want to say like the amount of people, but maybe just like the moving pieces, because last year, okay, Garland goes down early in the Toronto game, and that kind of seemed to find a way to work itself out. It didn't seem like there was Donovan and Darius issues as far as making it work together on the offensive side of the ball, as far as chemistry. So is it like the end all be all that, people are not healthy? I mean, it's not great. It's not great for some of these upcoming opponents that you're playing. And Justin brought up a good point there. And I know we'll get into in greater detail, obviously, with our game predictions, but like, just what is this schedule early on? Like, so at least we were home the last game. We're home tomorrow, but then we have to pick up and travel to New York the day after on a back-to-back. And then we play Indiana again on the road, who we just played. So I just think that the National Basketball Association has some of the worst schedule making just in existence as far as all major sports leagues. I think that every other, body has it figured out besides them. However, let's move away from that a little bit. Logan, I want to go back to you because I think let's not try to harp on the negatives all night long. Yeah. What has pleasantly surprised you? Because I know I have an answer in my mind, I think, so far, and it's an interesting little tidbit statistic. Nothing crazy, but I think it's something I definitely would not have expected through 3 games. But what have you seen that you're you're kind of like, yeah, this is going to be a different aspect in a positive way from a season ago.
I think we might be thinking the same thing. Is it Max Strus 9.4 rebounds a game?
Okay, that's interesting. Honestly, for me, it's Max Strus leading us in minutes, 39.3 minutes per game.
I mean,
yes,
Max Strus, right at the end of the day. People were a little worried because, I mean, Justin's talked about it, the Miami aspect of it. Are they just a Miami player? Are they an NBA player? We've seen Kendrick Nunn. Gabe Vincent doesn't look great so far in LA, kind of fizzle out. But no, Max Strus so far has been worth every penny. But to me, no, I'm not going to make it a negative. What I was going to say is that Strus having 9.4 rebounds tells me that other guys should be getting in there and rebounding, but that's a story for another day. Max Strus's rebounding has really been great. I love more than him knocking down a three-pointer, knocking down 7 of them, knocking down 3-4 of them. I like that he is always moving and he's a ball hawk. And what I mean by that is he is going for every loose ball. He's constantly, I'm not saying he's diving on the floor, but he's at least getting in there. And if he takes a bump, he doesn't care. And that's the kind of attitude I need from these kinds of guys is go get that damn basketball, right? Donovan Mitchell was he, top 20 last year in 50-50 balls? Like, that's an incredible stat that I'd love a lot of guys to start, showing me. It shows some effort. And they showed it in Indiana. That's why I can't be mad. I really think they played their hearts out and ran out of gas at the end. Tyrese Halliburton hits 3 triples and he thinks he's the man beating up on the Cavaliers backup squad, but whatever. But yeah, so far Max Strus's rebounding has really been the most positive thing to me, and it's crazy to say it's not this 3-point shooting, which has been good too.
Honestly, I think we're kind of like the Strus has been very intriguing. I think Okoro has played extremely well through 3 games, which is a good sign. He has to step up, if need be with these injuries. But if you take a look, and it's a small sample size, the whole night's talking about a small sample size. That's a given, but Donovan Mitchell leads the team in points per game, assists per game, and steals per game. Mobley leads the team in rebounds per game and blocks per game. So you have 2 guys who the situation is dictated that they have to do that to a certain extent. But, besides, some decent Strus performances, averaging 18.7 points per game, we know Donovan Mitchell is going to be who he wants to be. And I think you've kind of seen some up and down moments from Mobley through 3 games. But Justin, what really surprised you? It could be a positive. It could be a negative through 3 games. Like watching these contests, what really stood off the page for you?
Gosh, our big men defense sucks. It's bad. Again, and rebounding. I mean, we talked about it for a long time, the 3 of us, with the off season and coming into the preseason and going into the season and whatnot. But we really didn't do anything to solidify our backcourt. And Niang has been bad. I mean, the shot doesn't look right. The defense looks just like Kevin Love, guys blowing by him and whatnot, and he doesn't rebound. And that's a tough blow for a guy who really wanted a minivan jersey, but it is what it is. Damian Jones also not very good at basketball.
He's just not good.
No. Yeah, I mean,
I want Tristan Thompson to play.
Yeah, the defense, the rebounding from our big men is not good. The defense from last year is totally just not there as of right now. Maybe it's Ja being out. Maybe it's just the inconsistency with who's playing and when and how much. But, yeah, that's my biggest takeaway is, man, our big guys do not play defense very well right now.
And honestly, this is just I just don't know how you've had such oversight on this in the offseason. This is just not – you have to plan for some level of inconsistency, some level of injury, some level of hey, what if one of these moves we make, I just felt like we operate always that every move is just a slam dunk. Where's the complimentary move? Damian Jones is not very good. Tristan Thompson, Logan, you want to see him play, but I agree with you. Is it worse than Jones? Is it going to be worse than Jones?
No.
I don't think it's really going to be possible that it's worse than Jones. However, Niang, That's fine. I think Niang is not, you can't expect Niang to be this. That was my biggest thing with this offseason, I think, outside of as far as nitpicking. Like Niang is not going to be your 4. There's no shot that he could come in and play consistent 4 minutes and really make a huge impact on the glass, guarding other opposing teams' 4s. He's out there to shoot the basketball. That's pretty much it. Am I missing something here?
No, and that's fine. He's missing right now, so it looks a lot worse. I bet if he made 50% of his three-pointers so far, we wouldn't have much to say about it, and we'd be over and done with it. I'm not going to be worried about George Niang, to be honest. He's a veteran. He's clearly out of shape. He's clearly not a fantastic defender, but I think we knew that when we got him, and that didn't bother me at the time, so I'm not going to act like it bothers me now. What bothers me is him not knocking down three-pointers. That's fine. That's going to come with time. But yeah, dude, when I'm out here saying I want Tristan Thompson to play in 2023, what the hell happened?
Literally.
Damian Jones, I almost had a heart attack in the group chat with you guys in the Brooklyn game because we build out this lead. He comes in and Cam Thomas just bullies him. Then he's clumsy and can't catch a ball, can't even stay on his feet. I'm like, you're 7 foot flat. All I need you to do is block the ball, dunk the ball. That is it. But if he can't, he's setting moving screens. He can't get himself planted. He can't catch a ball when it's coming at him on a cut. I just don't think there's much there to him besides explosiveness. Like, he's a lob threat. He should be able to rebound, but what are his numbers so far, Jeffrey? I mean, I haven't looked, but I know he had a whole half where he didn't have a rebound, and I think that's inexcusable from a backup center who's 7 foot tall.
Who, Damian Jones? 2 rebounds a game, dude.
That's bad. That's horrendous.
And he's playing. It's not like he's the third guy. He's the second guy.
It's bad. It's bad. He is. I know we're 3 games. I'm not saying he's unplayable, but you can't play him for more than like 2-minute stretches. Like, you need like a boost of like, I don't know, a big body, sure, but like, I'm already 3 games in, and I'm like, this guy's going to get a lot of DNPs down the road because I have no doubt about it that we're going to have to go get either somebody or Isaiah Mobley, someone like that steps up. I have no idea. But everything else about this Cavs team seems right. But health and backup bigs is an absolute killer to start out your season with. I don't know.
And it's not getting any easier.
I'm just rambling, but Damian Jones just like really, really bugs me. Like,
but I mean, Logan,
that was the best we could do. That's the best we could do after Robin Lopez last year. At least Lopez was fun to have around.
We've had 3 years of total incompetency from the backup big position. We have
Love 2 years ago, fine.
He was terrible last year.
We also had Markkanen, so even though these are 3, it kind of acted as another big
I know,
man.
But I'm just saying the true backup 5s, Ed Davis, Lopez, and now this nonsense again. It's like, come on. We've lost Justin. That's okay. We'll get his predictions phoned in. The show must go on. Logan, it's not getting any easier though. Here's my thing. Like tomorrow, and I'm kind of interested to see, not that he was a huge factor, but I think he was a factor in the playoff series, how, even though we did already just see him, but how New York kind of operates without Obi Toppin. But still, you have Hartenstein, you have Robinson, you have Randall. Like, I'm almost convinced that we should have no business being in tomorrow's game, that somehow it might be close. I know that doesn't make any sense.
It's like a trap game for New York.
It's not. It's just like one of these games has to be a trap game for somebody. Like, I think as far as like my predictions as a prelude to what we're going to get into as far as the next segment, talking about 4 different games. Let's analyze them. Let's break them down. Let's see if we have any chance to do anything here. And we will take, like you said, I know there's a whole faction of the fan base where moral victories don't mean anything. When there's 82 games, I'm in for a handful of moral victories. If you could stay competent with all these guys out, we're going to talk about the injury report already. We know Jarrett Allen is going to be out. Ty Jerome out. Garland out. Donovan Mitchell is questionable. So that's tomorrow already. But I think you have to try to win tomorrow because a back-to-back going to New York and then on the road in Indiana, who just played you pretty well and beat you. I think that's going to be, the first 3 games that we're going to predict here, not to mention Golden State on the back end of this week long of games. But Logan, we do have, and I hate this schedule set up from the NBA, but whatever. Tomorrow, is there any chance Now, are they going to say screw it and just sit Donovan like it's not worth it? Or how do you think they're going to approach that?
I mean, that kind of determines my whole prediction, right? I think tomorrow, if Donovan wants to play, and I'm not saying that sounded so like a slight at him. It wasn't. But if they decide to play Donovan, we're going to need like a Celtics game last year where Donovan and Karis LeVert both go for 40 apiece to win this game. That's that's probably the only real avenue to winning tomorrow. We're going to get absolutely clapped on the glass. I mean, it's not going to be pretty, guys. I don't like our chances. If Donovan plays, I give us a fighting chance because there's a possibility he goes off. Maybe guys feed off it. Maybe Strus has another big day, like where he hits 5, 6 3-pointers. Is Evan Mobley going to be able to handle Mitchell Robinson? I didn't see it last year in the playoffs. I don't know. Are we making predictions right now?
Well, so we could start, but before and I will admit to being a little bit ignorant on this topic here, but are the new resting, like how is the load management rules working? Like if they have an injury designation, like I just don't know what the exemptions are. Like, okay, so Darius Garland, but because a star player is someone who's an all-star the previous 3 seasons. One of the previous 3 seasons. I'm pretty sure that is like some part of the rule. So Garland is a star, Jarrett Allen is a star, and Donovan Mitchell is a star. But I'm assuming if they have injury designations that it's kind of exempt, but doesn't that kind of defeat the purpose? They're just going to give people injury designations all year long. And I'm sure it'll be subjective. I'm sure we'll hear about some controversy throughout the year, but it's like you've already sat Darius Garland and Jarrett Allen for multiple games. Now Donovan Mitchell is questionable. Like, what is going on here? But yes, Logan, I do want to hear, do you think we could get the job done at least tomorrow to kick off these 4 games?
I hate our predictions so much.
I love them. They're looking great so far. How could you not like them? Look at us.
I've won the last 2 years. I want to make it known, everybody, we should have lost to Brooklyn. I can't believe we pulled that crap out. Thunder game, we played in simple, should have won that game. Can't believe the Thunder pulled that crap out. Literally. And then the Pacers game, injuries happen. I'll let that go. Like, that's just going to happen. But I hate that it doesn't get any easier for me. I could start my season probably 1-5, honestly. And believe me, I'll be right back up there at the top by the end of the season. Just you wait. But I'm an idiot. Give me the Cavs against
dude.
the Knicks.
I was literally good. I'm going Cavs too. I'm going Cavs too. I don't know what it is. I just have like this weird feeling about tomorrow where it's back to back. So I will like I'm saying this.
Go ahead and throw me Knicks here on that one.
I'm putting the asterisk here for a personalized guarantee that we definitely lose the back to back. But and then after that, like this Pacers team.
If we're healthy, I think we could win this game. I have no idea when we're going to be healthy, though, because they don't tell us anything. Oh, my God.
So here's my thing, though. You get the day in between. I think if we don't have Jarrett Allen back and he's not playing tomorrow, so I guess he could play Wednesday, I guess, because the back-to-back's not really going to apply to him. But I think if we don't have Jarrett Allen back by at least Game 6 in Indiana, there's something bigger going on there. And I'm hoping that if you've taken your time, you've done your due diligence with him, he's going to come back and be 100%. That'll be another thing. That'll be another thing where my blood pressure is going to start skyrocketing is if he comes back and I have to hear from JB's mouth that he's on a minutes restriction. Don't do that. Bring him back when he's 100% or just keep him out because you've kept him out. Yeah. I heard it was a 4-week injury. Yeah, we're going on 5-6 weeks minimum as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, unless my timeline's messed off. But right. I thought it was whatever. I think the Pacers like kind of can't stand us. I used to like the Pacers until this last game. I don't know where their ego and attitude came from. I respected some of their players. I thought Halliburton was good. I've always liked Miles Turner and Buddy Hield, as far as Eastern Conference, coworkers and colleagues, so to say, as far as the Cavaliers playing them a lot. But go ahead, Logan.
I think Garland should be back. What's Garland's injury? It's a tissue injury.
Garland is, yes, soft tissue, I believe. But Allen, I feel like Allen's injury is just weird. Ankle bone bruise. He's been out 6 weeks with a bone bruise. Jerome is an ankle sprain. Garland is a hamstring strain. And Mitchell is a hamstring too. I feel like Mitchell played through hamstring like all year last year, though, so I'm not too concerned about that.
Give me Cavs and Cavs.
Oh,
I want to believe we're going to be back to mostly fully healthy by then. I think at Indiana, especially at what they just did to us on our own home floor, I think there's going to be a little something there. I believe me, I could see Pacers and Warriors as well. But I'm going to do the Justin thing and see if I can get myself back in this and just go with a bunch of Cavs crap.
I mean, it's just so unfortunate, though, because we struggle against the Warriors. I know they're a little bit different this year, but, they have the usual suspects still. And
yeah, I mean, I'm probably already panicking with my predictions so far, but I just want to believe that this back-to-back Knicks thing, I think we got to get through that. And if we get a split there, I think we get healthy and we get back on track. That's what I'm hoping, and that's the reason I'm going to predict it that way.
I agree. If you steal one of these Knicks games, if you let's say they steal the second Knicks game, I feel like you have a good enough confidence level to go into Indiana and win that game, even if you're not. I think you're going to be shorthanded any way you slice it, whether Jerome is out, whether Darius Garland's out. I don't see us being fully healthy until at least this stretch of games is over.
Right.
I know it is kind of long. It is like it is. You got some days in between there a little bit, but I don't know. I just think it's a tough start. And what worries me about these 4 games is that I kind of felt like last year we finally had the defense to play how we want to against the Warriors. But if you have people who aren't playing, if I see this level of defense that we've seen through the first 3 games against Golden State, I think that game could get ugly real quick. They're too good. Steve Kerr is too, meticulous on the offensive side of the ball, the way they run screens. I mean, we've given up some kind of not suspect performances, good players, but you give up a bunch of points to Cam Thomas off the bench. Of course, Shai gets his against us, but then Lou Dort has 25 points in that game. And then, Aaron Nesmith and Halliburton, that's what I'm saying. Like, you kind of have these weird suspects who I feel like, there's Cavalier killers, but, tertiary guys, I didn't feel like didn't kill us a whole lot last year besides the normal suspects that we talk about. But Logan, final thoughts here. Let's do some final thoughts here. Let's do one positive, one negative to wrap us up here for Cavs Encapsulated episode 2.
The one positive is that this is happening at the beginning of the season. And that means we have plenty of time to get right back to health and start making up games. I guess the bad news, the thing I'm not too excited about is still this whole thing with JB. I mean, I'm not looking forward to him having to continually figure out crap throughout the season. Injuries are part of the game, but I feel like anytime an injury happens, I get so confused with JB. Like, I just feel like the starting lineup is almost never what I think it should be. I don't love the answers of like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, haha, smart ass. I'm not laughing. Like, we're 1-2.
Love it.
I'm noticing that you're not doing things that make any sense to me. So I do question, do you know what you're doing? I want to believe he does. I'm going to support JB, but I don't love that JB already has to deal with this stuff this early. Like I said, it's a good thing it happened early. It's also a bad thing that JB's going to have to, from the very start, figure out what the hell he's doing with this roster, because it's there. The components are there, but they're not currently playing. They're not there. Right, and
we've seen it. We've seen it. Even in the Nets game. Obviously, even without Jared Allen, you see the components there. You see the gears turning offensively in the right manner. My positive is that with people out, I feel like you've seen people who we could almost be for sure that some guys on this team could either play up to their value. I would say Max Strus kind of came in maybe with a little chip on his shoulder. Miami part ways, however that ended with him. Maybe he hears people, in our neck of the woods in the offseason, overpaid, this and that, comes in, has played stellar basketball. Number 2, Isaac Okoro has shown that he can be a lottery pick type value player. I've seen it these 3 games. Can he keep it up all year long? Can he have consistency with it? Can he excel on the defensive side of the ball? Can he make sure he's still hitting 3-point shots as well as doing everything else? So he's been great in transition. I think he's attacking the rim with, a lot of force, and I like that. but can he keep it going? I know that he really thrives off of getting minutes, so it's helped him early on here. My negative is that, and I've been harping on this all episode, this schedule just sucks. Like, we talked about it before we hit the record button. 1-6 is really would not be that surprising at this point in time. And yes, that would be dropping 6 in a row to start the year after winning the opener. But you're playing the Knicks twice. You just lost to Indiana. Sure, that was a good matchup. They fought hard with people out. And then you're playing the Warriors, which is always going to be a difficult matchup for us as long as Curry, Thompson, Draymond Green, and company, are doing what they do. But it's Cavs basketball. It's the NBA regular season. This is what we get hyped for. Logan, anything else before we wrap up here tonight?
No, I'm exhausted. We'll hopefully we can meet next week and be like, oh, a couple of surprising wins for the Cavs. That's my hope.
Right.
And we'll still root for it. It doesn't look very good, guys. So stay patient. We're going to stay as patient as we can. I know it looks like I'm losing my mind a little bit over here. I'm just frustrated. Not angry. I'm not upset. I don't blame anybody really, but I'm certainly frustrated. Injuries are part of the game and doesn't make them any less frustrating.
Valid. All valid. Concerns are valid. We're going to be here to critique. We're not going to just say that, they're going to bounce back and, win 4 in a row. Could they? Sure, they absolutely could. We have the guys to get the job done, even with injuries, but without DG, without Jared Allen, it's an uphill battle. Even with Donovan Mitchell, like it's just going to be, it's an uphill battle. I think everyone acknowledges that. And I think that the Cavalier faithful is kind of on the same page, which that I think is at least good as far as the takes I see online and stuff like that. But if you made it this far, hit the like button. Make sure you're subscribing, comment down below, share with your friend. And as always, it's been Jeffrey. Logan's next to me. We appreciate you guys being the pulse of it all.